November the 19th, 2017, 1:30 p.m. EST. Montreal. Though she's only 22, Constable Pamela Stevenson is undoubtedly one of her Northern Quebec Police Force's most coveted new recruits. When she joined last month straight after graduation, Stevenson became one of 3 Inuit officers on the 70-person Kativik Regional Police Force, KRPF, whose vast territory includes everything in Quebec that lies north of the 55th parallel. Of the 3, Stevenson is the only woman. To get to where she is, Stevenson overcame a number of challenges, including moving 1,400 kilometers away from her home in Quebec to earn her police technology degree and later attend police academy in Drummondville, Quebec. The move meant getting used to living alone, a rarity in the north, and living in a community where few people speak English or Inuktitut. There was other First Nations in my class, but I was the only Inuit, she said in a phone interview. It was a big adjustment, especially in the community where the school was, because it was all French. While Stevenson thrived in her studies, her experiences highlight the difficulties police forces face in recruiting local officers to the province's northern regions. There's a lot of events related to sexual abuse, violence and so on, so it's very helpful for a police force to have women. In a territory where about 90% of the population are Inuit and most speak Inuktitut or English, most of the police officers serving in the region are francophones from the south, according to KRPF Chief Michelle Martin. Policing in the north means long days, isolation, bad weather, and sometimes having to manage violent situations when the nearest backup is a plane ride away, he said. Many southern officers also struggle to adapt to the culture, and Martin says most end up leaving after less than 2 years. As a woman who speaks Inuktitut, Stevenson is a doubly important coup for a force that is largely failing to reflect the region's demographics. We're very proud to have her, because she speaks the language and she's a woman, said Martin, who estimates that women make up 20% of the force. There's a lot of events related to sexual abuse, violence and so on, so it's very helpful for a police force to have women. In recent years the force has stepped up its Inuit recruitment efforts, which include a high school cadet program that Stevenson first joined as a teenager. The RCMP announced a similar program in Nunavut in 2016, acknowledging at the time that they hadn't hired an Inuit officer in 8 years. But despite the efforts, Martin says the force struggles to attract candidates who meet the educational requirements and don't have criminal records. Furthermore, academically successful Inuit students have many job options available to them, and some don't want to move away for training, he said. Stevenson sees another reason, pointing out that being from a tiny, tight-knit community is both an advantage and a disadvantage when it comes to policing. She believes many young Inuit shy away from police work because they don't want to be faced with confronting or even arresting their own parents, siblings, or friends. I interact with people every day that I've known since birth, because I know the whole community basically, she said.